Lucky Lefty podcast. Honor boys, we are in the building. Brought to you by Honor Whiskey, honorwhiskey.com. It is that premium American whiskey, honorwhiskey.com. You know, each and every day we're here to make sure that we spin it different. You ready for this? It's USC week left. It's USC week left. It's time to be disrespectful. We've been real nice because the competition has been, it's time to be disrespectful. Yep. We know after that win, you took a sip of that Honor. And if you continue to do it after this win on Saturday, make sure you do it
responsibly.
Let's get it, left. Lucky Lefty podcast. I am Shaun Davis, SD2 Mics, that guy, the original Lucky Lefty himself, ZAIRE. We are brought to you by Honor Whiskey, presented by Bleav Audio Podcast each and every day, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, over at Bleav Network, and we are presented by FanDuel. If you went with the under in Notre Dame, whether the money line or taking the points or giving away with the points, you won against North Carolina State. Now, I expected Notre Dame to cover left, but I did not expect the under to hit. North Carolina State just didn't participate.
They didn't participate. And we were playing around. Like, we left, what was it, almost 14?
17? At least 14 on it, yeah.
And we're talking about left it on the 1 yard line, not just left it on a good position on the field. We left it on the one.
Yeah. So to fast forward to this week, Notre Dame has been installed as a 7.5 point favorite. A 7.5 point favorite against the USC Trojans, coming in with Lincoln Riley leading the way to Notre Dame Stadium, 7:30 p.m. Eastern time on Saturday night. 61.5 over under total. 61.5. So the way this defense,
that's them coming to just show up and score a couple points.
Hey, the way this defense is playing, let me tell you something. We might want to play that under a lot moving forward. A lot. Unless Notre Dame picks up the check on the over-under every week.
Facts.
Unless they score 50, 40 points every week. It might be tough because this defense, left, I give it to you as a prophet. You told everybody to relax. You told everybody to be cool on Chris Ash 4 weeks ago. And you said, relax, their defensive rankings will come down week to week. And that's exactly what is taking place, left. That's exactly, even after the North Carolina State game, total defense, they're at 60th in the nation.
Yeah,
pass efficiency, 40th. Tackles for loss.
Points, dude. Come on.
Tackles for loss, still questionable, 129.
We're gonna be down there.
The sack total, 34th in the nation. That's definitely on the rise. Scoring defense,
we jumped huge.
47th. Now, passing yards allowed has gotten better. They're still in the hundreds, but it's much better. Rushing defense, they're all the way down to 25th in the nation.
Well, we've been good, solid on the run. We've been solid on the run.
And
how we solid on the run but not good in tackles for loss is crazy.
That is crazy. Opponents' points per game, 32nd at 20.8. 20.8 points per game.
And dropping for sure.
We're getting to that place once again where we have to, can we find 17 points for these teams? That's what every week we used to say that, like, man, where are they going to score 17?
Score 17 at, exactly.
And I told you, I feel like the Notre Dame defense is going to have a chip on their shoulder from what they gave up to USC last year on the road.
Yeah, because
I feel like those players are like, yo, we're not giving that up again. No. The defense has definitely, I don't know if they were jealous of all the attention the offense was getting. They said, hey, come on now. We all know
show up. I mean, KVA started to show up better. The Traore finally came to play, and the D line making more of an impressive push in the pocket. And then our secondary, who has been good the last 2-3 years, are getting healthier, and they're playing better as a unit. So those are the things that we knew were going to take place as the season goes on. And it's just unfortunate that we had a very challenging opponent to a defense that was figuring themselves out in the first 2 games. I mean, come on. Like, this is – you take 2 top receiving cores against a secondary that's still new. Everybody's still figuring things out. We was running every coverage in the first 2 weeks. I'm pretty sure the last 2 weeks we haven't ran more than 3 in a particular drive, which is a vast difference when it comes to like a defense coming into its own. There's no way you're going to run every coverage in a drive and expect to win. But these are the first 2 weeks of the season. Duh. Like, whereas offense, we went from a semi-structure to where we almost got too open. Now we just trying stuff. So offense and defense are moving 2 different ways. Hopefully we can come back to meeting in the middle. But the defense playing great encourages our offense clearly to be trying stuff anyways. Like, we don't want to put the nail in the coffin the traditional way because I guess it's just too boring. I mean, whatever. I'm sure 90% of the teams in college football wish they could win boring like we could do every week. I mean, hell, your Illini put up a good fight for 3 quarters.
No, they didn't. Stop. No, they didn't.
And they didn't do the silly stuff like take a knee on catching the punt.
Left.
Y'all did some crazy stuff.
Ohio State spared us, bro. Ohio State spared us, bro.
I was hitting out there. I done hit Jeremiah Smith pretty good a couple times.
Bro. Ohio State spared us, man.
I don't know, but y'all had some opportunities now. Y'all were doing some crazy stuff that just are like, what? Like,
first of all, you know what? I'm glad you brought this up. Remind me later in the show, because we're about to get to our takeaways offensively and defensively. Remind me to ask you, because you said you had a religious question for me.
Yes.
I have a question for you, because we talk about players being ready for big games. The more I watch these matchups, I'm like, coaches ain't ready. This coach ain't ready for this. Then what the heck is this play calling?
Yeah, what is this play call?
What is this play calling? No, this is how you prepare for this matchup.
Yeah, we
need to talk about that. Because we talk about, this quarterback wasn't ready, or he didn't perform as well against top competition as he did against the easier competition. Coaches have those issues too, and it's evident.
It's evident when it becomes so disjointed watching the game. You're like, wait a minute. You're down 10 points and you're running this? Like, this is the call that you can get out of the momentum going? But it just showed you, one, calling plays is tough. Because you get so lost in the translation of a script or your game plan to where you lose focus of the here and now. Like, you're so stuck on this play being after this play and setting this up. You're missing third and second. You're calling some BS,
man.
Because you're looking at a chart and it's sometimes you got to call off the cuff. Yes, there's references. That's why you got them giant ass play sheets. But if you're a real play caller, you're in tune to what's happening next play mentality. If you get so caught on, I've been scheming demon. If you a scheming demon, you're gonna pull out stuff throughout the game where it doesn't fit, and it's just like, that's you spending late hours game planning, where you're like, this is gonna hit them right here if we do this, and overthinking it instead of being like, okay, it's 30 seconds. Let's just get the first run in our go-tos, because it's the here and now. It's like we're not trying to score. I mean, I can understand how it can get complicated, but you're absolutely right. There's a huge it's no different than saying and having bad pub on players that leave teams but not the coaches.
Mm-hmm.
It's the same thing. The coaches leave in the middle of the season or getting fired and having a $50 million payout. That should be negative press. You shouldn't fail forward as a coach in bad times that you've created, I guess, on your team. And it's no different in the big games. It's so easy to say the quarterback or this player or whatever. but you're giving them, chicken shit in a sense, and you're telling them to make chicken salad. Your game plan was trash. I mean, hell, we've talked about it before. When you're so good, the game plan gets so simple. We're running left, we're running right, we're throwing a play action rollout, like stuff you can draw up at home because we're just better. But when you get in that mindset and then you're going against a team that's going to take away the run left, one right, you gotta be creative. You can't just, run forward on fourth down like against Ohio State in the red zone. It's tough. You got to think of different stuff. So, yeah, the coaches fall back on, oh, we don't have talent. No, you aren't scheming the right way. You're not being creative in moments where the talent level is equal. We have a luxury of having talent overload in a lot of these matchups where in big games, we're famous for freezing up, in my opinion, on the play calls. You're not giving the ball to Jeremiah Smith 4 times in the championship game. I don't care if he's hurt. Clearly, he can't be that hurt if he decided to suit up himself and be out there.
You mean Jeremiah Love?
Yeah, Jeremiah Love. Yeah, Jeremiah Smith tore us up. But Jeremiah Love not touching the ball 4 times is a literal coaching thing. I'm not going to sit there and say he didn't. What is he supposed to do in 4 touches? He was our best player last year. He's our best player this year. So I think those are the things that we can help our team out with. It's very little, in my opinion, times where the player is just at fault totally. Like even Dylan Gabriel, it's not his whole fault, but he threw the ball 45 times in his first start. Against the Steelers at that, like I don't know if you trying to set a guy up to fail or not, but that's terrible. That's terrible. That's not Dylan Gabriel's fault. Yeah, we want the Shador thing going, but if I'm Dylan Gabriel, I'm pissed. We ain't got a running game. Look at Jared Goff. Jared Goff has made a great career. Shout out to Jared Goff on having a running game and basing his play off of that. And if the running game going, they ain't gonna win, and that's fine. But you can stay in the league. You can stay a starter. But yeah, they set up Dylan Gabriel. So no, coaches own a huge responsibility. If the game plan's bad, now there's times where the game plan just you gotta. Hey, players got to step up. In my opinion, I think in Notre Dame's case, it's a lot more on coaches freezing than it ever was a player not performing. The championship game in 2012, I'd say that's 50-50. I'd say that's 50-50. The loss against Ohio State the first time, I thought he was a little in that talent-wise with Tyler Buckner at Ohio State. But I thought the game plan was solid for the most part. I thought it was a winnable game plan. We just didn't execute great. The Ohio State game for the championship, I thought we came to play for the most part. But giving the ball, you got the mic.
Ohio State game at home.
At home. Great game plan. Great game plan. Great game plan.
We dropped interception by DJ Brown. Sam Hartman not running for the first down, putting his head down.
Man, yeah, like that's. But the game plan was everything we wanted it to be to win. So it's like there's. But then you go Clemson with Trevor Lawrence. I thought the game plan was terrible. I thought it was terrible. But when we played them at home with DJ Uiagalelei, I thought the defense game plan was terrible. But we game plan wise gave us a chance to win and we won. So I think it's case by case, but I just think it's just lopsided how they treat it though. Even if it's a bad game plan, they're not gonna kill the coach unless they unless they fire him. But that's more professional. But we're seeing it in college. Trent Dilfer just got let go. Deshaun Foster at UCLA just got let go. James Franklin got let go. I mean, college, they're realizing that this hanging on this stuff all day with the money flowing in and out is not a good model to sustain anymore. I'm sure they're firing coaches at a faster clip because they can't figure out how to fire a player yet. You know what I mean? In college, you can't really fire a player, so the coach got to be the first. Professional sports, they, we'll see what happens. But there's too much money in college sports to be playing around. It's just like Billy Napier probably gonna be on the hook real soon. You know what I mean? And it's crazy, in today that James Franklin got let go for literally not winning, 2 or 3 games that people are going to remember. Nobody's going to remember the 50 wins and the great success as a program. That's just where winning and money is today. It's like you remember for your biggest games. Think about Ryan Day. Ryan Day, I don't think he was literally on the verge of getting fired, but people wanted to fire him even winning the championship just because he lost to Michigan 3-4 years in a row. So you can't win in this game, obviously, but for Marcus Freeman to be doing what he's doing and not winning technically the big games.
James Franklin, he is the politician that Brian Kelly is, but they're the same head coach.
Oh, and the same head coach for sure.
They don't win a big one, and most of the time they beat the teams they're supposed to beat.
Because you out recruited and you can build a program. I mean, that's
James Franklin is probably a lot nicer. He's probably viewed as being a lot nicer. But they both can't, for some reason, can't develop quarterbacks to save their life.
At all.
Because people are talking about this cat is not the problem. Wait a minute. But the interception against Oregon in overtime was horrible. And this dude threw an interception against Northwestern that was so bad. I was like, you got to be kidding me, man.
I'm talking about threw it right to him.
Right to him. Just crazy. All right, let's get to these offensive takeaways from the game left. Now, we're going to hear from Marcus Freeman in the second half of the show. He was asked about this recent trend of the offense struggling in the first half and then seemingly picking up steam in the second half. He has some interesting comments about that we'll hear from Marcus Freeman. But what are your takeaways from this 36-point performance? 2 failed fourth down attempts. Short yardage issues plagued the offense once again. And I would love to ask, if you have a super chat or a GTB question, please put it in the chat. You're our third co-host, as always, on this show. I'm very interested in seeing how they solve these issues of inconsistency. I do think some of the inconsistencies are related to film being there on Notre Dame and what they like to do. I think we saw it in the fourth down when they tried to run the crackback flood to Malachi Fields on fourth down. North Carolina State just scouted it. They scouted it. They knew what was coming. Linebacker runs right under Malachi Fields. And CJ, my man, is fourth down. Just throw it up. Just throw it in the end zone. If it gets intercepted, so what? And then late on that play, he had a late leak or a late release from Jeremiah Love that even if you just dump it off to him, at least you give him a chance to get into the end zone. At this point, I don't know what critique you can have. I know the eye you have, especially at the quarterback position. I don't know what critique you can have because the offense still put up 36 points. That was a C level game. They still put up 36. It should have been in the 50s.
Easily.
But what are your takeaways from the Notre Dame offense?
A team that, can't get bored with success. Everybody, the cat's out the bag. We got one of the better running games. We got one of the better young quarterbacks that we know we need as a key piece this season. We got the O-line together. We can run. We can throw. We got backups. So being bored with success is something that is a challenge not only to the players but to the coaches. As you can see, when you try stuff and you just do whatever, it can negatively affect us in the present moment of the game where we have to climb out of holes unnecessarily or make the game tighter than what it could be or let teams hang around because of those things. The good thing is we can take off at any moment. The bad thing is you don't want to have a team hang around long enough that we're taking off can be, who got the last possession. And because as good as our defense has been, which I still think they'll be dominant through this regular season, of course, I think it's still a situation like we had last year. The saving grace of our team was defense. Can a team score more than 17? Like, that's not an average or usual question for most of college football. But for us to have that as a back pocket lifesaver is just monumental. But that doesn't give us the excuse of not being consistent on offense like we can be, which we can be at a higher clip than last year, which is saying a lot because we scored 50 points last year, a couple times. So for us, it's just more about how do we be the top 5 offense that Denbrock said that we need to be, which means that 40, 50 points is every week, no excuse. Remember Georgia, when they was on their hottest point in their dynasty run, it was like we're turning on the game for the first quarter and a half. After that, we'll check back at the end because it was just going to be over with. It was just – and the offense wasn't the best part of their team. That's the thing. The offense, it was just like, okay, let's see if they can put something together after the first drive because, they script the hell out of them first plays. No, okay, then Georgia's just going to do what they do, and that's where we have to be as a team that's trying to win a championship in our dynasty moments, right? So I do think offensively, handling success is just as hard as not having or having a lack thereof a certain area, because you have to figure out, which I think is an issue that we won't be exposed anytime soon, but it's an issue that I think will come up later, is our balance of using Jeremiah Love and Jadarian Price. I just don't think we mix them well. I think we put Jeremiah Love in because he's our best player and we got respect for what he does, but we just give him carries or we don't take him out at the right time, because it'd be different if Jeremiah Love was just our all in all, where he gets 20, 30 touches every game because he's our best player. He needs the ball. But okay, yeah, he's our quote-unquote best player, but Jadarian Price, who is, I think, a very valued piece in our run game and on our team as a playmaker, there still has to be a chemistry there. I don't think there's a great chemistry between using both. I think when we put Jadarian in after the first quarter, because Jeremiah Love played the whole time, Jadarian Love gets in first carry is 20 yards, and we don't see him till the third quarter.
Well, I will say this. They play Jeremiah's in the first 2 series, regardless.
Right, regardless.
And in fairness, we've seen Jadarian get the first series of the second half because they're going according to script. It's not like, Jeremiah is going according to script. So they're being judicious, but just depending on how the flow of the game goes, it can look disjointed at times. It can look disjointed at times. I give you that. But there is a script that you can see that's obvious.
You can see the script. And I'm just saying that part, I think, needs to be more organic and needs to be more balanced because that's just for this game. You know what I mean? Because we've seen them trying to figure out the rotation this whole season. But for the last game, it was, all right, Jeremiah Love, you just bust the first 2 out regardless. Jadarian going to bust the first 2 out of the second half regardless. And then we just going to go who's hotter, which I think is 1,000 ways to skin a cat. Obviously, we scored 36 points. They both scored. They both had decent days. But you can just tell as you're watching the game, yeah, it may be scripted like that, but there needs to be a chemistry within that because there were times in the game where I felt like for the situation, Price could get that short yardage if we're running this same play with him. Not that Jeremiah Love can't, but it's just a flow thing. It's like, okay, he can get that one, so we can be whatever. But I think then again, you got all this media around Jeremiah Love and Jadarian Price where they're like, who's better? And I think that somewhat affects the coaching because they become extra judicial about it. You know what I mean? It's like, don't respond to who y'all think is better. It's just create a better balance. Because I think, if anything, put them both on the field. That's what we should be experimenting more with. Because if Jadarian Price and Jeremiah Love, as great as they are, we still got more backs. If we were really doing it, those two would be on the field together more, and then we would also rotate Aeneas Williams and Jabron Payne through the game. It's the easy way out to just play Jadarian Price and Jeremiah Love all game. That's easy. Anybody in college football would do that all the time. But with us and our circumstance and us having an expectation, you need to use everybody in that room. 1, because you can. 2, because all of them can be productive. And 3, having that balance, I think, is stronger than just having 2 of the best running backs. Like, they've already have accepted that having 20 carries per guy is not the thing to do. It's not. I think there's value in placing an Aeneas and placing a Jabron Payne with having those guys as also on the field. Like, there's personnel that we can use and packages we can use utilizing the whole room. Because why not? I think if anybody can show it, we should be the lighthouse for it. Because that way we're introducing more ways to win. I think the ways we're comfortable in winning are throw it deep with CJ when we need it, run left and right until we wear him out, and rely on the defense. That was a great job to get us to the championship last year, but I think we need more this year because we are capable of more this year. And it helps CJ out. Because now you're talking about mismatches and different things like that where can a defense match up with an Aeneas, Jeremiah Love, and Jabron and Price on the field at the same time? That's a personnel matchup problem. And that's just because, in my opinion, our running back room is still our best room. We're working the receivers in like we have with Pauling and Fields and Faison. But when it comes to the things that we're not doing well, I think there's no excuse when we have that much talent, that much going for us, that good of coaching for the running back room. That's like a personal thing. If we can't get short yardage on the offense, that's a personal thing for the running back. And it's got to be an issue because it's been existing now too many weeks consecutively. Like, every week has been our next trick for short yardage. And it doesn't align up when you have so much talent around. It's not like you got 1 or 2. You got so much talent and a good coach. And we talked about that. Even the coach is smart and knows how to get out of the way when things are going down ship, even if they appear good. That means the man got vision and foresight. He ain't living in the hindsight. And you can tell he played quarterback. The man dropped back. He didn't like it. He didn't think it was great pre-snap. He rolled out of that pressure because he had James Franklin at left tackle who couldn't hold up. Got out of there. He didn't want to take the sack. He foresaw the sack coming. He said, I got good offense. I got to roll out to my right to avoid the pressure because the house is going to collapse. I can't work the pocket like Tom Brady because I got Myles Garrett on James Franklin on my left tackle. I can't do it. So what did he do? He said, with all good things, I got to still escape the pocket and make a play downfield to none other else than Notre Dame, which was a great decision. And we're talking about a guy that left what was considered last year a better running back room than what's at Notre Dame. But, he didn't play running back in college. He was always thinking the quarterback. He said, yeah, I got a great running back room. But the quarterback, he's coming back. He's coming back after what we just, I got to roll out of the pocket. I got to make a check at the line. Because he knew that the play wasn't going to be successful, even if it appeared to. That's a smart guy. It's like he jumped out the building before the building fell. And how did he know the building was going to fall? How did he know? Foresight, visionary. And if that's the case, he should apply that same strategy to the running back room. Everything appears great, but short yardage is terrible. So what do? Foresight. I got to jump in. Nice. I got to jump in my bag. There's more guys in that room that can get it done. Not that the guys that we got can't. But I got to have a foresight, the pre-snap read. I knew I had James Franklin at left tackle. I had to roll to my right before the snap came. Myles Garrett is the series best player in the league. I'm not finna take that matchup and just drop back and no, I got it. So quarterback that same situation for short yard. You came in perfect. You got the best problem and the best solution to the problem in the same room. This is where your coaching expertise comes in and say, hey, Denver, I got this. I got 5 guys that can figure out short yardage. You don't have to involve your quarterback no longer in anything short yard. I don't want him lead blocking. I don't want him running a receiver. I don't want him faking the snap and jumping the running back to do a fake. I don't want none of that. We got 5 guys in short yardage. You can take everybody out. Just put all 5 running backs on the field in short yardage. Take CJ off. Take Jordan. Take all the small guys off. You seen what Alabama's doing. Alabama said, forget it. Put our left tackle at quarterback. We're guaranteeing first downs. We got the biggest 6'8", 300-pound guy running at you. Stop that. Not CJ trying to fake you out. Hell, even Detroit, as smart as they are, what they do? They sent Jared Goff out there and threw it to him. Make the quarterback useful in that way. Throw it to him. Don't have him lead block, then block. Illinois was smart enough to look at that Detroit versus Baltimore game and say, we're going to steal that play and run it versus Ohio State for a touchdown. They said, look, if we can't think about it ourselves, we'll just steal it. Steal it, then, Brock. Illinois ain't ashamed of that. Everybody knows it's hard to score against Ohio State. So what Bleav would do? He turned on Sunday Night Football. We're going to take that play. We're going to forget strategizing in the meeting room, banging our head against the wall. We're just going to take this play. We're going to make it easy. Then, Brock, you got a TV. Take some of them plays if you can't figure it out. I mean, it's too much technology for you to feel like you got to do it by yourself. You do not have to do it by yourself. You got 5 running backs capable. You got a great coach. You got TVs with guys running all type of short yardage. Detroit come out with a short yardage package for you every week. Just take one play. So, I don't think – because if we're talking about saving, them plays we ran, I hope we wasn't saving them. I hope those were throwaway. I hope those were like still on the whiteboard in the office as half drawn up. I didn't even think that fully through before we ran it. I hope that's the case. Because if we're spending weeks on end, late nights coming up with the short yardage we're putting out there, we're doing something wrong. And somebody needs to say something. Because you got Marcus Freeman coming in here with all these excuses. Marcus Freeman, I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear that. It's short yardage. This is not, man, listen, this is football still. If anything, we just got to have a push at the line. Do we got to talk to Rudolph? I mean, where is the problem at? I think some of it is a push at the line on 3rd and short. Because we got, I guess, the most TFLs on short yardage ever. I feel like we have the most TFLs on short yardage in the country. Like we don't even. It's so bad. It is so bad. They don't even bring out the chains. They don't even bring out the chains for us in short yardage because we just don't even get close. we failed on 4th down twice last game on the 1-yard line, and it was so bad the refs couldn't even bring out the chains and make it close. They couldn't even get no. They said, "Oh, this is clear. We don't need no instant replay. We don't need nothing. You clearly did not make that turnover on downs." That's terrible. It's almost as frustrating as watching Derrick Henry fall on the ground on 3rd and short and 4th and short. How many times? Derrick Henry is the biggest dude on the field. How many times do we have to see it? So that's something we got to get fixed. The easiest, hardest problem clearly to fix, but we'll figure it out.
All right, let's go to the defense side of the ball. What are your takeaways from the defense? Once again, they put up a fabulous performance against North Carolina State, 233 total yards. Once again, 233 total yards given up against the Wolfpack. Not only that, 7 points, 4 sacks, 3 interceptions. It seems like everybody in the front 7 made a play. Everybody made a play in the front 7. Everybody in the defensive line made a play. All your linebackers made plays. And I don't know what else you want from this Notre Dame defense. And I'm going to be honest. What else can you want from Chris Ash right now? I think you're on mute, bro.
No, I agree. I mean, Chris Ash has done an amazing job of just staying locked in. Obviously coming from a world-class organization in Jacksonville and being able to withstand the heat.
Way to handle success, Jacksonville.
Come on, it's success. One game, really? Okay, whatever.
Sam Darnold, bro. The fighting Sam Darnolds.
Come on now. We're not worried. First, we had to travel across the country. Like, what? That's the furthest flight you can take. Literally, Jacksonville is on 3,000.
You're James Franklin and Lincoln Riley now talking about travel. That's what we're doing.
Okay, can we be fair? That is literally the furthest flight you can take. From Jacksonville to Seattle is the furthest. Of course, you're not going to win that game. What do you mean? Come on, SD. You ain't gonna count that at all. First of all, who scheduled that game? That's a terrible game.
The fact you made that excuse is wild to me.
Come on now. They're crossing time zones, all type of stuff, state lines.
Dude, the Chiefs literally flew from Brazil and flew back the same week to play a game in Kansas City.
That's at home.
Google that. No, Google the travel. That's still travel. Google the travel from Brazil back to Kansas City.
That was a Thursday night game, number one, which gives them an extra day or extra 2 days. So that's what, 10 days to prepare for a game? You should win. I mean, it's at home. We had a regular schedule, 6 days, and traveled across the country, which means we got there like what, with 2 days left? Come on, man.
The Seahawks just got beat by Mac Jones, bro. Mac Jones. But get back to your defensive points. 233 yards given up, 7 points on the day, 4 sacks, 3 interceptions. Notre Dame offense flying, defense flying high. Go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, defense is just doing what defense does. They flying around. Obviously, they're getting more comfortable. And you got players on the defense that are the energy plugs, your Drake Bowens of the world that come in there and just even with the hits, just sparks the defense. You got the young guys like Tay Johnson flying around. I mean, it's a great collective effort, and everybody's included. The defensive pressure is getting better. And, this is just a team that, as once again, plays together technically really well. So when you play as a unit really well together, the individual stuff will come. Obviously, we have some individuals that make up a great defense, but to play as a unit, just like Ohio State plays great as a team collectively, defensively. So does our defense, and I think that's what those are the markers of great defenses that get into the top 5 later in the season, as opposed to teams just winning games early.
For me, what stands out is just the health. And I said this. I said as they get healthier, they'll get better. This defense will be even better because right now Devontae Smith is better and more reliable, specifically in man-to-man coverage than Dallas Golden. He just is right now. Dallas Golden gives up the touchdown to Terrell Anderson on the double move. We said Terrell Anderson was their big play receiver. They found a way, just like they're going to find a way to make sure Mekhi Lemon is lined up over Dallas Golden on third down in key situations to get chunk plays. We said that's going to be the case for the rest of the season. Teams are going to target Dallas Golden when he's out there. That's what they're going to do. And so you, as the staff, you have to anticipate that, and you have to find different ways to make it look like he's by himself pre-snap, and then change the picture post-snap to take away. I would, me, this is my early thoughts. I would double Mekhi Lemon all game and tell Leonard Moore, you got Jacoby Lane. That's you got him all day long.
Man, I watched him raise up. Jacoby's a great player. But yeah, you're right.
Great player. But him and Leonard Moore can fight all day. Mekhi Lemon, you might have 5 to 10 plays when Mekhi Lemon is like solo, man to man. Other than that, I'm bracketing him. I'm taking him away as a first look and forcing Mayava to go to his third read, his fourth read, and allowing that defensive front doing a really good job of pressuring the quarterback to get to him and make him move his feet. No, we're not. Come on, man. Somebody asked that question in the press conference. You're not. Why would you move a player to take away one player that plays in the middle of the field when you can literally shut down one half of the field?
Yeah, I mean, they're going to move him around. They're going to do some stuff.
But it's like, I'm not wasting Leonard Moore.
I don't think they can wear us out. Yeah, I don't think they can wear us out going strictly to Mekhi Lemon or Jacoby Lane. I think there'll be moments where they'll make good plays, but I think overall, if we can just make it a long day, if we can just contest, get pressure on the quarterback, make the throws a little affected, get our hands up on the line, even if we don't get sacks, we need to do a better job getting bat downs. And we need to do a better job of stripping the football. I mean, in the NFL, that's all you see. Guys are after the football. Clearly, you get more turnovers that way. It would be nice for us to pick up some of that skill because turnovers are going with our defense is going to blow the game wide open, and especially for a USC team that all you need to do is just get up double digits, get a couple turnovers on their quarterback, and then their whole thing goes out of whack. The whole thing goes out of whack. You sack the quarterback once or twice and playing behind the sticks. Now they're going to start tossing you turnovers all day. That's just how they're built. So they're not going to out with Mekhi Lemon enough just because I don't think the quarterback is going to have enough time to do that all day.
Yeah. I just really think if you look at Trevor Trowbridge, man, did an incredible job. Just to give you a quick synopsis, he put it on the message board over IB, and it was absolutely incredible talking about basically the history going back to when Brian Kelly came to Notre Dame until now. The history of this game really has been or hinged on the second half. Like the team that normally wins the second half in these matchups wins the game. And Notre Dame has only been outscored in the second half since 2010 and won. 2019, they got outscored 24-13 and they won 30-27. 2013, they won 14-10 and both teams were scoreless in the second half. 2010, USC had 13 second half points. Notre Dame had 7, and Notre Dame won 20-16. Other than that, both teams were better offensively in the second half in this matchup. Both teams have been better in the second half because you're talking about Lane Kiffin being part of that. You're talking about Steve Sarkisian being part of that. You're talking about, if I'm not mistaken, and Lincoln Riley. You're talking about great offensive minds. And then you add in Denbrock and Brian Kelly. It's like, dude, you have great offensive minds usually in this matchup. So the teams come out at the half, they make their adjustments, and the offensive seem to take off. So I think the second half in this game is once again going to be very important for both teams. But I just really think that like Aaron Frazier, USC's tight end is good. You do that. I think he's referring to double teaming Mekhi Lemon. You're leaving the middle open for the tight end. You're man to man on the tight end with Tay Johnson. I'm taking that all day. Once again, take away Mekhi Lemon, Leonard Moore, Jacoby Lane. That tight end is not beating Tay Johnson man to man. I'm cool with that.
Just straight up.
Absolutely cool with that.
I don't think we have to. I really
don't think that matchup all day.
I don't think we have to change it. We just got to run our defense, man. Don't call 7,000 coverages in one drive. Stick to what we've been doing well. I just think it's hard for an offense to time and time again go against our defense and have a bunch of success. They're going to have some plays here and there. It just, we've seen some plays made by NC State early. But the thing that comes into issue is that, is your quarterback good enough to do that all game? It's only a couple people that can do that in college football anyway. And their run game, and that's the other thing. If they can't get that going, none of the passing stuff matters.
And they're down to their third. Well, I will say this: their third string running back had a field day against Michigan. He ran for like 158.
He was going crazy.
He's a dude. I was talking to Howard Griffith about that kid, getting a little background. He was like, he's a dynamic runner. But this is what Howard Griffith said. He said, the problem is, Shaun, Howard Griffith being a running back himself, he said the problem is the kid wasn't getting reps because he couldn't run. The kid was probably on the bench because he couldn't block. And he said the way Notre Dame comes at the quarterbacks, if he can't block, the Notre Dame linebackers are going to have a field day getting to Maiava, especially in key situations. So he was like, forget whether or not he can run the ball. We saw he can run the ball against Michigan. In this matchup, it's going to be pertinent that he can pass pro. Because if he can't pass pro, they're going to be in trouble on third downs. I thought that was interesting, the conversation I had with Howard Griffith about the young man, because he looked fantastic, toting the rock against Michigan.
As long as they can create a pass game where they get him in routes and all of that, I just think he's going to be forced to block due to the fact they're going to be down. They're going to be behind the sticks at points, and they're going to have to pass to come back, just like they did last year. They had to throw to come back, and it just, because they're not getting explosive touchdowns every drive, and every team that has scored has had like sort of like this 8 to 10 play drive to get a touchdown. That's hard to do, to score over 17 points. If we're not giving up one play touchdowns, it's just going to be hard to put together 10 and 11 play drives all game. So as long as we can extend their drives, I don't feel it's going to be hard to limit them to a small amount of points.
Yeah, I agree with that. Our guy, Justin Kane, we appreciate you for tapping in with the GTB. Beautiful dog, by the way. Beautiful dog. Love his eyes. How do we best defend against USC's quick slants and screens? Go ahead, Love.
I just think our man principles are pretty good. Obviously, teams have seen us pick off a lot of over routes that we've gotten better on, and there are slants available and that are open, but it's a matter of you're willing to give up 5 instead of 25. As long as we can come up on tackles, be competitive at the point of attack when the ball does come in. You give up a slant. As long as the slant's not a slant and go or a slant all the way across the field for a touchdown, I don't think they'll go to that enough to pick us apart all day like Miami did, right? Miami was just dragging us with little plays here and there, running the ball. I don't think USC can commit to running the ball well enough to give us a struggle, because they're going to have to acknowledge them running the ball to keep our offense off the field unless you want us to score 500 points. So Lincoln Riley's going to do his famous guard tight end pull, and that's going to be in there. But if they don't have a concerted effort to keep our offense off the field and they think this is going to be a shootout, I think we'll have a lot of success early, because all it takes is a couple turnovers. You know how we do. We'll bleed the clock with an 8-minute possession, and then it's over with.
Yeah, I think early on, it's going to be very important that they just do the fundamentals. For me, this is a linebacker game. This is a linebacker game, right? Like you said, Lincoln Riley, his counters, his delay run game, especially out of spread formations. Linebackers, along with the safeties, are going to have to be very fundamental. They're going to have to tackle. Defensive line is going to continue to have to be a really, really good against the run. They did a great job against Hollywood Smothers, just really running to the football, putting bodies in his way. You miss, he makes the first man miss. Here comes 2 or 3 more swarming him. You do that regardless. You do that regardless. But the linebackers are going to be key, because they have to be sound in recognizing the screen game. Lincoln Riley disguises his screens, whether it's to his wide receivers, out the backfield to his running backs. Man, he really calls them at the right times, hides them well schematically and formationally, and they get a lot of chunk plays, and they get out of a lot of bad situations with their screen game. So that's something that I'm going to be watching Chris Ash and the coaches having these players prepared, particularly the front 7 going up against USC, to take that screen game away, because that's paramount. That's paramount. Like you said, Lev, it's not about them just dropping back 40, 50 times, throwing the ball to Mekhi Lemon and Jacoby Lane, to Nuke Hines and McCree. No. They have to be able to run the ball to give some sort of balance. They have to be able to get to that screen game to have some sort of balance to go against what Notre Dame is going to do to try to take away that passing game with the pass rush, blitzes, other things, along with the coverage on the back end. They've been doing a really good job collectively as a group on defense lately. Josh Buffo, the motivational business banker, GTB, if you are Penn State, you go after Saban, Signetti, Rule, Diaz, or Golden. And why? Matt Rule is a no for me. And I know that's the first name people think about. He is a Penn State alum. But, I mean, I just look at what he's doing at Nebraska. It's like, meh. I guess the improvements have been incremental, in my opinion. Why would Signetti leave Indiana? I asked that question, and somebody was like, what are you talking about? It's Penn State. And I'm like, he is the king in Indiana. He gets whatever he wants. I mean, absolutely whatever he wants. It's not to say he wouldn't get whatever he wanted at Penn State. But would you rather be the king in a small pond, or go to a big pond with everything now is like the cherry on top in Indiana? If he does nothing else, he might be viewed as the greatest head coach at Indiana right now. Everything from here on out is cherry on top. He goes to Penn State, those expectations immediately become, there is no expectation of winning the national championship in Indiana. Those fans are happy with 10 wins. The next step, man, get to the Big Ten championship game. Not win it, just get there. And then if we get there, win it. And then playoffs. That's the expectation. There are no heavy expectations to win a national championship. So if I were Signetti, I wouldn't move, not for Penn State, where you immediately put me in a bad situation. You have all of these decommitments in the 27 class, right? 4-star wide receiver Khalil Taylor. Notre Dame's talking to him. The Von Brandt kid, 5-star offensive tackle. I talked to him. He says he has a phone call with Coach Rudolph tonight to see where things stand with him in Notre Dame. He just decommitted. Kamon Spell, 5-star running back who was already coming to the USC game. He decommitted. It's like, man, what are you walking into? So now you have to really go semi-rebuild all over again at Penn State when you've been successful already doing that at Indiana, and then you can do whatever you want with minimized expectations. Yo, that's Saban. Heck no. I don't think that's a job he comes back for. He is a Pennsylvania guy, though. That's interesting. Saban is interesting because they probably could make he's very familiar with the Big Ten, his time at Michigan State. That might depend on the pitch. Can they convince Saban that it's the right move for him? Can they convince him? Manny Diaz, yo, I understand it. He's familiar with the program, probably has connections. I get it. Al Golden, would he leave? That's very interesting. Would Al Golden leave after 1 year in the NFL to go back to Penn State? Man, would Al Golden pull the Joe Pa look? Because, he had the shirt, slack, and tie look during his time at Temple and when he was at Miami. I wonder if Al Golden would do the same thing and walk the sidelines like Joe Pa did with the slacks, white shirt, and the tie. That's funny. That's funny. That's funny. I think they honestly should think outside the box. I think they should think outside the box. I think they should think young, refreshing. Fran Brown would actually be. Fran Brown might not be a bad hire. He would be very relatable, very refreshing. He can recruit. And he would give that program, which is for the most part seen as being blah and bland, he would definitely add some flavor to that Penn State program. So, yeah. The original Clyde the Glide. Thank you for the GTB. If Freeman can do it, what do you think about Tommy Reese at the state pen? From everything I know, Tommy is in heaven and trying to move up the ranks in the NFL. That's where he always wanted to be. So I can't see Tommy coming back.
No. Tommy was using college as a stepping stone resume builder. I think his personality fits much more NFL life. He ain't trying to do no recruiting for real.
Yeah. I agree. And Will Stein would be interesting. Clark Lee would definitely be. Clark Lee would be a very interesting hire, but I think they need somebody fresh. Well, Clark Lee is fresh. He's just on the
fresh.
He is. I erased that where I was about to go. I think Clark Lee would be a really good hire. I don't know if he would be the home run. The home run would be convincing Saban to come out of retirement. That would be the home run. That's right. Heck yeah. Well, he started off in the Big Ten. He's a Big Ten guy. He's from that area. You know what I'm saying? So it works to a degree, but you would have to convince him that you have the NIL plan because he doesn't want to have to deal with it. So now you have to make sure the general manager is like, yo, handling everything so he can just coach and recruit and let other people handle NIL and all of those other aspects. Give him the resources he needs, give him the confidence that he doesn't have to come to a press conference asking people to send money in like he did at Alabama. I think Penn State has one of the wealthiest alumni bases as well. If I'm not mistaken.
Taking a $50 million buyout.
Yeah. So it's going to be interesting, man. I don't think Saban would come. I wouldn't leave for Penn State. No, I wouldn't.
What about Al Golden? You think he leaves?
Somebody mentioned that, and I mean, if his heart is connected to the program like that, right? Because he left Notre Dame to go to the NFL after one season, and it's a horrible season. He picked the worst season to go back to the Bengals.
Joe Burrow got hurt, man. So
they actually played pretty good defensively for the most part against the Packers yesterday.
They did.
Yeah. And I can actually see if they can protect Flacco, I can actually see the offense being decent moving forward.
Yeah, you got pieces.
Yeah.
You just didn't have a quarterback.
No, I don't think Urban Meyer would touch Penn State with a 2-foot pole. If he was that close.
He'd be on a chasing legacy and stuff. It wouldn't be. He went to Ohio State and Florida, man. Call it quits while you can, you know.
Yeah. Kenny Dillingham I just don't think he's a fit. I'm telling you, hey, I would walk right, dude. I would catch an hour flight right to Syracuse and tell Fran Brown, come on, bro. You want to talk about them instantly becoming?
He don't want
instantly. Instantly, you're right. He might not want it. But instantly, they will become one of the coolest programs in all of college football.
Fast.
Instantly. And on the recruiting trail. Instantly.
Yeah. They would have to pay Fran Brown damn near $50 million to come. I just don't think he wants to leave Syracuse, you know.
The fact that you just said that kind of makes the Penn State job look bad. Like he don't want to leave Syracuse? Well, no, it's really about him and what he's building.
Man,
because it's about timing, right?
Yeah.
Fran Brown, see, this is my thing with Fran Brown and Signetti. They're both in situations where they want to get to a certain point before they leave or consider leaving. It's not that they don't foresee themselves leaving at some point.
Right.
They just want to get to a certain point with the program before they do so.
He's so funny though. Like
he
like taking these like he's the cast offs, and I'm over here winning games like, oh, you know. It's like an ego thing over there. But I think he could take that same model I think he's more in line than a Fran Brown would be. I just think Fran Brown loves Syracuse. I mean, obviously he loves the job, but he's from there and all of that. Signetti it's just another stop, in my opinion. He don't got no real root loyalty to Indiana, you know, because I'm sure.
But Left, would he is already considered one of the greatest coaches in the history of Indiana football. Already. Got them to the playoffs year one, or as fast as he did. Now you go on the road, you beat Oregon. It's basically you and Ohio State on a collision course for the Big Ten championship game. Back to the playoffs. Why would you go to elevated expectations? You're literally like working with no expectations right now.
Playing above the beyond.
So why would you take that to go do a mild, because it's a rebuild. It's a mild rebuild if you go to Penn State right now. They're losing recruits. They're losing recruits in the 26 and 27 class like crazy. You don't have a quarterback. You lose both running backs. Man, you could turn it around quick at Penn State. And the 26 schedule bro. Let me read you this 2026 Penn State schedule, bro.
Probably laughable.
Bro, I'm like, whoever comes in, has no excuse not to win 10 games.
Damn, 10 games.
10 games, bro. They start out with Marshall. Then they go play Temple. Then they come home to play Buffalo. Then they go on the road to play Maryland. Then they go on the road to play Michigan. They go on the road to play Northwestern. They come home to play Minnesota. That's play Purdue.
Right there. That's 8 games.
They play Purdue. Then they play Rutgers. Then they play USC at home. Then they play Wisconsin. Then they go on the road to play Washington. Dude, that schedule is bazooka. Dude, it's terrible.
Terrible. Beyond terrible.
If you are a quality coach and you can't go in and win 9 games, I'll say 9. That's a 9 win. How do you get
around playing everybody? How do you get around playing everybody in your conference?
Well, the conference sets the schedule. So,
maybe that's why they fired James Franklin, because they like, we can't have you look good in this trash schedule.
Because they knew that schedule, the next year he probably going to come back and win 10, 11 games.
Easily. They knew it. That's a rerun. We can't let you do that. You're going to fool the hearts and minds of more people.
Before we hear from Marcus Freeman, we thank everybody for joining us on this Monday. Would you be on within Love, Jay Price, and Aeneas Williams in the wishbone inside the 5-yard line? Who will stop that?
That's what I'm saying.
Left said,
heavy.
Go ahead. Yeah.
That's what you think about. You're like, if it's this much of a problem, we need to be outrageously, different when it comes to this. Like, there's no way you can stop all 3 of the best running backs we got. That's how ridiculous we've been making it, because everything else has just been, I don't know. It's been terrible.
Yeah. Yeah.
To be a good team like that. Like, it'd be different if we was like an air raid that couldn't get a first down running the ball, but it's just no excuse. It's just crazy, man.
Yeah, I feel you on that. Lucky Lefty Podcast. Go to Bleav Network. Download our audio edibles on Apple Podcasts and Spotify each and every day. We are presented by FanDuel, FanDuel.com. Download the FanDuel app. Notre Dame, 7.5-point favorite on Saturday night against the USC Trojans, led by Lincoln Riley and Jaden Mayava at quarterback, and that wonderful, wonderful group of pass receivers. It's really going to be a challenge. You have to watch Eric Gentry on defense, too. He's the game breaker for them, along with Stewart at the defensive tackle. Stewart is going to be a dude. He comes in as a true freshman and playing the way that kid is going to be a dude probably by next year, because he's already pretty good. 7.5-point favorite are the Fighting Irish. Over under sits at 61.5. 61.5 in this game. USC is going to have to do their job, because I think Notre Dame gets back to the 40s against this USC defense, who has their own list of injuries coming into this one. So go download the FanDuel app and go over to FanDuel.com. All right, Marcus Freeman. He met with the media. And I'll just start with this. What he gave us in his open was pretty much just kind of disappointed with some of the offensive letdowns and inconsistencies. But also Ashton Craig, starting center, is out for the season once again with a right knee injury. And if you watch the play, it's just weird because he fell back. And initially I thought he had just like messed up his hip. Maybe,
he walked off, didn't he? Like, it wasn't
off. Yeah, I thought it was a hip issue. And it ends up, once again, 3 games, knee issue last week. After the Purdue game, we lose him, and then we lose him once again. I would just like to say this. You can't foresee losing Ashton Craig, but it would be darn good to have a guy that actually you recruited to play center, that you moved to guard, and then he transferred out, and now he's the starting center for the Tennessee Volunteers. I'm just saying it would be nice to have him on the roster. Or maybe the guy that's playing center for the Indiana Hoosiers. I mean, you had 2 guys that you let get away in the portal, and They both were veterans at the position, and yeah. But I digress. And he also talked about Charles Jagusah will be back. That was good to hear from Marcus Freeman. We'll get him back at some point. He had a clean exploratory cleanup surgery to clean up some things, and so that probably pushed him back a week or two, maybe 3. So hopefully we can get him back around November. Definitely making a push into the play. So I said, but I didn't say he was going to play.
Yeah.
What I said was literally me tongue in cheek, saying like it would be nice if those guys had been treated a certain way that they would have wanted to stay. They would have been perfect replacements for Ashton Craig, right? But unfortunately, they're no longer here. But Joe Oddie,
it's like you can't escape disaster, man. You can't escape wrongdoings, man. You just can't do
Joe
it.
Oddie, do your thing, young man. You look good. You know, when he came in, he reminded me of when Ashton Craig came in that Clemson game. It was like, oh man, he looks like he belongs. Joe Oddie,
gonna be so. You got a good supporting cast, man.
Yeah. He's smaller, but he looks like he belongs. He's small, but he looks like he belongs.
Going on, man.
Yes, he has a Sam Mustard vibe going on, you know. But we'll see, man.
Still the Bears' greatest center in the last 10 years, though. Just saying. I haven't heard nobody talk about y'all centers since Sam Mustard. So,
first of all, Olin Kreutz is a Hall of Famer. What are you talking about?
Yeah, but Sam played after him. So he's technically the last great center that y'all had, for sure.
You're right. Since Olin Kreutz, all of the centers for the Bears have been trash. You're right. I agree with you. He's the shortest midget. You're right. You're right. What else stood out from Marcus Freeman is that just talking about CJ Carr, just talking about moving forward, you know, his development and what they love from him. He has ultimate confidence in CJ Carr. And but I think the biggest news was, you know, him just talking about Ashton Craig, the confidence they have in Joe Oddie moving forward at center. And then, you know, just hearing it's great news because a lot of people thought when they went back to Charles Jagusah, like, oh man, we lost him for the year. But for Marcus Freeman to say, look, we're looking for him to return. He just had a minor setback. So, yeah. Johnny S3 says, Locked On USC was gushing over that screen game and how they view Michigan's D as similar to Notre Dame's. Did you watch that game, and what do you think about the comparison? I talked about it, Johnny. I talked about it. That's why this game is tailor-made for the front four. And like you said, one of the things Notre Dame does is they recognize screens very well, especially the defensive line. They've been taught very well to recognize the screen game. We saw that against Arkansas. We saw that against Boise State. So the challenge is going to be Lincoln Riley because Lincoln Riley disguises it. Like he'll run the same counter trade action that you spoke about left, and literally he'll be setting up the screen away from the counter trade action. And that's something, you know, off play action. Because, you know, first thing you see, you recognize it's play action, and linebackers immediately want to go drop back into their zone coverages because it's play action.
Yeah.
And make sure they cover down the field. And here come the offensive lineman leaking out with the running back from the play action. So they do a great job. So it's really, that's on Chris Ash as well, his play calls.
Yeah, it's something that will highlight, you know, a really good player to identify screens that even did a good job since he's sort of been in the mix. Has been Tuliamaka. He made a huge play against the screen against Ohio State. He sniffs out the screen this last week. I mean, he does a great job of understanding the game. But like you said, Chris Ash just has to have an emphasis focus on it. Obviously, if that was something big for him last week, the strategy would be to aware of it this week and not to get hit on it. So The only way you can really give Chris Ash the benefit is if we don't get hit on it or get hit on it for explosive play. But I'm sure, bases will be covered in terms of knowing what USC is trying to do. I mean, Lincoln Riley is still Lincoln Riley. He's not going to commit to the run once they get down enough. And I don't think this quarterback has enough star power to do what he has to do to win this game in particular. I think if we get some pressure, if we somehow figure that out, then it really won't be fair. But the two things we have to always remain constant on defense that works in favor for us is being able to limit the run game and then have teams play from down, right? When teams are down, they tend to get out of tendencies, and we good on capitalizing and playing top down. We just, outside those first 2 weeks, we're not just giving up, explosive play touchdowns like we once were. So if we can keep that down and keep teams driving 15 plays to get a score, I think we'll have a lot of success.
Yeah, I agree with you, Lef. I think it's going to be very important to just be locked in. Be locked in. Your linebackers and this is a front seven game. I know you think about their receivers. This is a front seven game. This is a front seven game. Shut the run down, shut down the screen game, and then get after Jaden Mahava, right? Because they got playmakers on the outside. They're going to make plays. Like Malik said, tackle well, keep them in front of you. Don't give up the big plays. Force them to make long, methodical drives. Force them to play your style of game. Get a couple of turnovers. Get it back to your offense. Get out in front. And take it from there. So Marcus Freeman, he met with the media, and he started off talking about the USC rivalry. And this is what he had to say.
Yeah, that's my opinion. It's very clear. Let's continue this thing. And that's it. Like that, they handle the rest of it, right? As we, from Pete and Ron Paulus and our leadership, they'll handle the discussions with them. But they know the head coach of this football program desires to continue this rivalry. And it's not just because I'm at Notre Dame, right? It's because I think it's great for college football. Right, I think the rivalry between Notre Dame and USC is a great rivalry and one of the best, and I think it's great for college football and the two institutions to continue this rivalry.
I couldn't agree more with Coach. I couldn't agree more. I think it's a rivalry that needs to continue. But on top of that, I go a step further. I think, I'm going to be honest, right? Because the USC players want to continue the rivalry. Students and fans want it. Administration wants it. The person that was driving the bus of pulling out of the rivalry was Lincoln Riley. And I truly believe that Lincoln Riley wants nothing better than to walk into Notre Dame Stadium on Saturday night, come away with the win, grin on his way out the door, and end the rivalry. He wants nothing more than that. You can't convince me otherwise. That he wants nothing more than to come into this game, walk into Notre Dame Stadium, win a big-time game on national TV, have bragging rights on the way out, and then end the series like the coward he is. He was a coward the way he left Oklahoma, and it doesn't shock me that I believe that's fully the way he wants to operate concerning this rivalry. He wants to be a coward. He wants to be that's definitely what he wants to be. He wants to be a coward. And we can't let that happen.
We definitely can't let it happen. We definitely can't let it happen.
This is what Marcus Freeman had to say about his new center, Joe Ottie.
Otter's been practicing well, and in his opportunities up to this game has done a really good job. And then in his plays that he had in this game, he really played well. I probably had more confidence watching, evaluating this last game when he had to step up and go in there and get his job done, and he did a really good job. So there's a lot of confidence in Otter. Joe Otting, Cam Herron's done a really good job of developing as a young player, and in that whole line room. But there's a lot of confidence.
I think Malik, you said something. What he's surrounded by. What he's
Yeah,
surrounded by. Yeah.
what he's surrounded by, and it's important when you're in any space growing that you have good people around you to grow with you. It's the same thing as Justice Scott saying he don't want to come in there and be by himself. Well, look at where he's at. He's in there with Ruben Bain and the other guy, potential first round guys, and that's only benefiting him. I mean, he wasn't wrong. One of the top D lines in the country right now. So his thought process made sense, right? And so with CJ taking that same success, I think it's going to be beneficial. Just due to the fact that you're gonna have a lot of your job's just gonna be easier, man. I've always been in a position where I can just know my guy is gonna do his job, so all I gotta do is mine. And whenever you're in a space like that, you can actually actualize how good your potential can be. CJ is a guy that can hit his ceiling due to being in the right spaces because it fits what he's good at. He doesn't have to play outside of his body because that's not his game. And we've seen him roll out the pocket a couple of times and been like, maybe that's just not the best place for you to be, right? But if he can operate within the pocket and throw them go shots and open balls to Fields and Pauling and give Faison some love and just dip and dab with the tight end over the middle, that's all we're asking. Remember, our standard and expectation for quarterback is set at 3,000 passing yards. I'm sure CJ is about 2 throws away from beating that. So everything he does moving forward is just, wow, we can't believe we finally have gotten that piece. Right now, with that, he'll continue to succeed because guess what? Marcus Freeman's recruiting is a 1-year thing. And even better, we've had recruits just say, I need to see what the offense looks like. Well, what does it look like? That's just going to attract more receivers. That's going to attract some of these guys that were on the fringe, right? So Denbrock knows this. And so I think that's why he puts in a little bit of trying stuff every week. He needs to give the recruits something to be inspired by, right? So I think it's just a matter of time.
Yeah. What he's surrounded by allows him to play at a solid, and that's one of those positions, man. Other than tuck tackle, center, having to know, and this is where, honestly, this transition for Joe Otting becomes a lot easier. I don't think he has to be what Ashton Craig was because what we have seen from our quarterback is that he can handle checks, line, making sure the line hears which direction they need to go. He has proven that he can handle those parts of the game, which makes it a lot easier for a first-time starter in a big-time, prime-time matchup. Shotgun snap, we'll see, right? We'll be watching the snap issues. We'll also be watching cadence issues and whether or not he has a connection like Ashton Craig had with CJ Carr. But other than that, I expect the kid to play well. I do. Ashton Craig was one of the best 2 linemen, though. Let's not underscore the fact that Ashton Craig, week to week, it was him and Billy Schrauth as far as the best offensive line. Week to week. And Gerby Lambert. This is what I love. Joe Otting is sandwiched by the 2 best offensive linemen because early on, it was clearly Billy Schrauth and Ashton Craig. Over the last 3 weeks, you can say it's really been Billy Schrauth, Gerby Lambert, objectively. So now you insert Joe Otting, like you said, Left, and you surround him by Billy Schrauth and Gerby Lambert. He has to feel pretty good, and they have to feel pretty good that he's going to, especially going into the bye week. You win this game, you get to the bye week, he gets more work, or we don't forget, Sullivan Absher also worked at center. Now you have to give Joe Rudolph, man, some credit because he had Sullivan Absher take reps at center. Now, if you want that big center like Ashton Craig, now you start giving more reps to Sullivan Absher. He gets the bye week, and then you go into the next game, maybe alternating with him and Joe Otting, or just seeing who wins that battle during the bye week. They still have options on the table. Cam Herring is probably a year off. Cam Herring is going to be the starting center at some point. Super athletic. We hear great things about Cam Herring, and now he's progressing. The kid is super athletic. His senior year, played every position on the offensive line his senior year based upon the opponent they were facing and what the game plan was to go up against that opponent. You want to talk about versatility. You want to talk about intelligence and knowing every part of offensive line play. Cam Herring on the smallish side, but he is going to be a really good center for the Fighting Irish at some point. Really good. Firmly believe that because they love what he's doing throughout this year. Marcus Freeman talked about Joe Otting, but he also talked about Charles Jagasaw. And listen to this beginning before he starts talking about Charles Jagasaw, ladies and gents.
So, I mean, we usually get the response back by Wednesdays, but, you know, it can be as black and white as saying we agree with why we called it and here's what we saw, or, you know, no, you're right, we missed it, right? They own it. If they missed a call, they'll say they missed a call. And then some is, here's why we called it. We can understand where you're coming from, but here's why we called it. And you know, there's got to be some human element to it too. It's not perfect, right? We want our officials to be perfect. They're not perfect. We want our players to be perfect, not perfect. But it's the dialogue and the clarification, I think, that's more important than anything, is the ability to say, hey, we got it right, and this is why we got it right, or we got it wrong, and we own it, and we're apologetic about it, and we'll try to be better. And so that's kind of how that dialogue goes.
So that's Marcus Freeman talking about the ridiculous officiating that has been taking place. And what has he done? We said it last week. Marcus Freeman is so conscious of being the Notre Dame head coach and how he represents the position. And I think everyone can appreciate that. We all can appreciate that. Because when he berates an official, it's never face to face. It's never pointing a finger in his face like we see other head coaches do. He really makes sure not to show the official up, but at the same time, he gets his point across. And I respect that about him. The ACC, they're not going to do anything. You can send them all the clips that you want, coach. They're not. The bigger conversation needs to be, what the heck is going on? I need to see on the NBC broadcast the same transparency that we get on ESPN during ACC games when they go up and give us audio of the replay booth talking to the official when they discuss these plays that are under review. Because the two play, dude, that third down miss and then the Christian Gray interception overturn. Who was it? The NFL, the NFL guy from Sunday Night Football, the retired referee. In the immediate aftermath, he's watching the game. He says that's the worst review decision I have ever seen. He said it was the absolute worst review decision he's ever seen. And look, small picture, because I'm sure there are some that were similar. I can't disagree with them more. Terry McAuley flat out tweeted during the game, right after that decision, that's the worst. I'll give you that exact quote, exact tweet. The failure to reverse to incomplete in Notre Dame, NC State is quite possibly the worst replay ruling I've seen this season. That's from Terry McCauley. It was awful, flat out awful. All right, let's hear from the head coach talking about the possible return of Charles Jagasaw.
And then when Charles Jagasaw broke his arm this summer, I think the initial prognosis was maybe late October, early November. Just curious kind of where he is, if you anticipate him, getting back and what his impact maybe could be.
Yeah, he had a follow-up surgery a couple weeks ago just to, clean up some things in his arm. And it's going to be a process to get him back, but he is making positive strides. He will return at some point. I just don't know when it's going to be. Right now, he's just every day in that training room, in the weight room, trying to get stronger and healed up. And so when we find out that he's ready to go and can help us, we'll obviously utilize that information and make some decisions from there. But right now, he's just in the process of rehabbing and healing up.
That's great to hear. That's great to hear, right? We just gave you the options, another option. Anthony Knapp was literally recruited as a center. He's probably the second best center on your team, the second most natural center on your team. You say, well, man, do you really want to move him from left tackle? Yep. With Gerby Lambert on the squad? I sure do. Yes, I do. Have no problem, no hesitation from me. Knapp to center. Can you imagine in the run blocking game, Stroud, Knapp, Lambert on the interior with Wagner at right tackle and Gerby Lambert at left tackle? Are you kidding? That's literally what Anthony Knapp does best. Run block. The trio of Stroud, Knapp, Lambert. Well, it wouldn't be. It would be Stroud, Knapp, Absher. And then you give me Lambert and Wagner at the tackles. No problem. I'm not saying that's going to happen. I'm just saying that you have answers. We're going to miss Ashton Craig. He was playing fantastic. But they have answers in that offensive line room. They have the answers. Will they be able to properly implement the answers? That bears out watching. I'm going to trust the coaching staff. I'm going to trust them. But they have answers to deal with that issue. And it's great to hear that Charles Jagasaw is going to be back in the mix. They're looking forward to getting him back. Now, remember, we talked to you about this game, this rivalry since 2010 coming down to the second half. And the team that scores the most points more than likely wins those games in the second half. Marcus Freeman talked about his offense sputtering in the first half and then coming alive in the second half in recent games. This is what he had to say about that.
Positive thing. Maybe we are well conditioned that we're playing better in the second half, I'll give Lando a shout out for that. But I think when you look at the outcome, right? After the game, you look back and say, okay, we're playing better in the second half. But why, right? What is going on in the first half that we're not having success? And I think each drive, each play tells you something. I think as I look at the first half of this past game, 3 of those drives had penalties that we had to punt, right? Or we didn't score. Couple false start penalties. We had a holding penalty on JD Price. Like, those penalties put you behind the sticks, and now it's hard when you're playing good college football defenses to be behind the chains, 1st and 15 or 2nd and 20, and expect to get a first down. And so we have to clean up those penalties that beat Notre Dame and stay ahead of the chains. And then, we got to convert when It's a 4th and 1, 4th and 2 situation, and we want to extend this drive in the red zone. We got to convert. And so it's more plays. It's like, why didn't this play work? Why didn't we execute here? Then I think it is a half problem.
I would agree with your assessment, Coach, especially the last part where it's really not a half problem. It's an execution issue. But it's also a play calling and game plan issue as well. I'll keep it as simple as this, because you guys, if you joined us late, Malik did a great job breaking down the issues in the short yardage, and he gave answers to that test moving forward for the Fighting Irish. I'm going to keep it very simple. For the last 2 years, 3 years, I have watched bad teams, mid teams, teams with less talent than Notre Dame, walk into Notre Dame Stadium with a starting quarterback, and when they get into short yardage situations and they have a running quarterback on their roster, they have no problem and no hesitation bringing in that guy strictly for short yardage. How in the world can we continually watch other teams do it and successfully do it against Notre Dame defenses, and we have a running quarterback on the sideline who Mike Denbrock openly spoke about 3 weeks ago, saying, we've been talking about it, we have packages for Kenny Minchey. How are you not using that to solve your short yardage problems? How? Because I don't care about feelings. I'm not saying that anybody's feelings would be hurt or injured. I don't care about feelings. Some people might say, you don't have to take this guy off the field. Dude, it doesn't matter. This is a weapon. You have an issue, and this is an answer and a weapon to help solve that issue. What's the problem? Literally, give the defense something else. And instead of having 2 things to worry about, let's go to the 4th down. Instead of having 2 things to worry about, with Kenny Minchey on the field, the defense now has 3 things to worry about. They have to worry about the running back, they have to worry about play action, and they have to worry about Kenny Minchey pulling the ball.
Why are you dissing Kenny Minchey pulling the ball, though?
How did I diss it? How did I diss Kenny Minchey?
Oh boy, I love Kenny Minchey.
All I'm saying is, with CJ, you only have 2 options in that situation. Handing it off and play action. On that same play, if Kenny Minchey's in the game, maybe that linebacker has to pay attention to Kenny a second longer. And now Malachi Fields is actually open because the linebacker couldn't just run up under him.
But that's what we wanted to do against Miami. That's why we switched it up. We were doing that in Miami, but we had to realize that, let CJ find his running room how he finds it. I just don't think directed calls for CJ to run. I think he's going to choose the handoff every time. I think you got to leave him in positions where you do a pass.
Left. He's not a threat.
All
nobody is respecting him as a threat in those situations.
No,
not. And it's not about whether or not he's look, bro. It's not about whether or not he's athletic and all that. Stop. He's not respected as a threat in that situation. He's not.
Especially short yardage.
They don't even respect him in the normal run game. Do you see how the backside crashes down all the time?
Flying. They're
flying. Trailing the running backs. Flying.
Every time, too. That's why I said Jeremiah Love need to throw it out there like Detroit did last night. I mean, what else are we doing?
Another thing that I think is a simple answer to the situation that Marcus Freeman talked about. And this left, I enjoyed Marcus Freeman today. I thought he was honest. I thought he was thoughtful. I thought he was real. I thought he was encouraging. And I thought he was very much living in what he preaches. Be where your feet are.
Yes.
He's not thinking too far ahead. He's not really focused on what has happened. He's like, this is where we are. This is the preparation to get ready for the game this week. He is living out what he preaches. And I thought this is one of his best press conferences. That's the way I feel. But this right here, this clip, I was like, all right, listen to Coach Freeman.
Vote on this one.
Going under center in short yardage situations was the answer, we would do it, right? That's that. If we said that's the reason why we're not converting.
See, I had to stop it, love. I'm just play that. Let me bring that back like I was a DJ in the club. Let me bring that back. Yeah, let me bring. I wish I had the Funk Flex bomb to drop.
Yeah, drop.
Left. Look, I promise you, man. I heard this first sentence and I said, man, come on, what are we?
Yeah, if we thought going under center in short yardage situations was the answer, we would do it, right?
That's not about it solving. Give yourself options. That's all. Give yourself options. 4th and half a yard. You can't quarterback sneak. You can't quarterback sneak with that big quarterback.
He said if we thought it would work, Sean, we would do it. If that was the answer to be closer to the first down on short yardage,
we're not about to play this game like CJ cannot do a quarterback sneak. If this is the case,
it's a real problem. It's a real problem. Because he literally said if that was the answer, if going under center was the answer, we would do it. I agree with you. We should give ourselves options. And to say
you have to have options in short yardage, bro.
And to say that plausible option is not even on the table, that's not like we already overthunk that, like that we're past that. How you pass under the center? How you pass that? Like, how you so far beyond like that even working that bringing it up is like laughable. Like, come on, guys, if we thought of that already. That's not what we thought would win. Oh.
Come on, man. Let's listen to Coach. Let's listen to the rest.
Right, that's that. If we said that's the reason why we're not converting, then you're insane not to work on it and practice it. We don't believe that's the reason why we're not having success as much as we want in those short yardage situations. But it's a lot easier said than done to say, hey, go under center, take a snap if you don't practice it, right? You have to.
Come on. Don't do that. Don't say you got to, so we have to practice take it under snap in order to do it in the game. We don't go out every time for pregame warmups and take snaps under the center. We don't go out every time before practice starts and take snaps under the center before we stretch. We don't go in inside run period and go under center just because of how the blocks are supposed. What do you mean? Don't try to explain away something so obviously fixable. You're trying to literally tell us that either going under center is archaic and it's a stupid idea that we shouldn't even be presenting to you, that you didn't think of it first, or what? Are we too good for under center now? I saw Boise State do it. Go I formation, 2 tight ends, right under center for a first down. Are you saying we're better than that than Boise State? Oh, come on, Marcus Freeman. Don't make it worse by trying to sound good. You can sound good and make it worse. You trying to make taking under center sound like it's a bad thing. I don't like it.
Practice that QB center exchange. We practice snaps, obviously during practice, but pre-practice every day. And you would think like it's so routine just to snap the ball to the quarterback. Every day we do QB center exchange. And so if you want to go under center, then you better practice it every day.
This is kind of
So are they practicing or are they not practicing? Is it pre-practice?
You said we have to practice it in order to do it in the game. You then say we do it at every moment in practice, and then say on the end of it, oh, well, yeah, we do it, but we don't do it to do it in the game. Just say, you're right, fans. We're gonna take your advice. just say humbly enough, you're right, guys. We need to start putting that in there. We've been overthinking it. And it could have been over.
I promise you, this is one of his best press conferences. I'm telling you, you know how you play a great game defensively, and then the backups come in and allow the other team to score, and it just kind of like takes away from the performance. This is like his backup. This is like his backup answer at the end of the press conference, just ruining what was one of his best press conferences, in my opinion.
They let me air. They let me talk just because they asked him.
Like you said, he is. I believe fully that he is trying to protect everybody, but trying to give an honest answer. Like, we're not about to blame the scheme.
Right.
We're not about to throw my players under the bus. Like, we are doing our due diligence to figure this out. We are going through everything. Unfortunately, in talking that out, it's like, come on, bro.
Yeah.
It was literally, I don't even think it was a half a yard. It was 4th and half a yard. And the best option was a rollout.
It was like we rolled out the right side, didn't work. We said, okay, let's do left side this time. Huh? And this
Bro,
is after we came out of the timeout. We came out
I'll give you a perfect example, Left. I have watched every Alabama game this year. Specifically the last 3 games. Alabama in short yardage, they have run the same play 3 different ways and have gotten first downs. Yeah. I don't have a problem with passing the ball in that situation. I want to be clear. No. I don't have a problem passing the ball. Jam Miller, Ty Simpson under center, play action with the running back immediately taking off to the flat. Out of 12 personnel.
Yeah, sprint flat.
Yes. And no one has stopped it. They've seen it. No one has stopped it. And every time the tight end is wide open, every time on the play, and has never gotten the ball.
Can't, because it happens so fast that it's so open, you have to take it. And that's the other thing.
Yes.
You said he's under center. Under center sells the run game. You don't sell. I don't know if we just not putting it together as a defender. I'm not buying you going into shotgun on 4th and short and believing that you're going to do anything other than a play fake. Like, a play fake is not, it's not conceptual. If you're under center, I can feel, okay, I have to stop the run. I have to at least respect that a run is coming. Like, I have to, even if I feel like a play action's coming out of this, I have to go chase the run because it's 4th and inches and he's under center. If you're in the shotgun, as a defender, I'm like, I have time. If he play fakes on a 4th and short, I have time. I don't have to run anywhere. I have to use my eyes. So you're not forcing any movement. Because the snap's 5 yards away. I have time to react. If we're under center and he's turning and reaching, I have to run to it. I got to do something. But if he's just sitting back there in the pocket and he's just flashing the ball, doing this stuff, I can just sit there and wait. It's short yardage. You got to get here. I don't have to worry about behind me. I just got to worry about everything in front of me. If you're not causing me to move anywhere, I'm just going to stay there. And that's what happens every time. We're doing stupid fly fakes and stuff on short yardage. The DN's like, dude, what? I can't go get that either anyway. You know, I got other people for that. So I don't have to chase no fly fakes. I'm just going to stay in the box. Oh, you got CJ Carr running at me? Great. Great. Oh, he runs
he's
out
not
to the receiver.
He's not outrunning a defensive end. He's not. CJ has to turn the corner on a defensive end.
And like you said, they're not even respecting it. So even coming out of the timeout or going into the situation, you're telling everybody, hey, he's not running it regardless. If I'm a smart defender, I'm like, hey, don't worry about what CJ does. If he runs out there, if he sits to the side, if he fakes the snap, don't matter. Don't worry about it. 4 is getting the ball. And everybody knows it. So it's stupid to do direct snap, because not only are you direct snapping in shotgun, you don't even have a potential of a fake. You're just giving it to Jeremiah Love in the backfield. So that's not even a smart conceptual thing. If you were smart about, okay, have Jeremiah Love take the snap under center. If we that creative, and I mean, every way you could have did it wrong, we've done it already, is what I'm saying. Every way you can overthink it, over-explain it, overcomplicate it, we've already covered it. Let's do the simple stuff, like under center. Like if we're getting cute, even Tommy getting cute in short yardage, put Michael Mayer or Mitchell Evans, a 6'6", 6'5", and try to catch them off guard on the motion. That's creative, and I think that's more effective, because a 6'7" Mitchell Evans tight end can fall forward in short yardage. 6'2" CJ Carr, 165, 5-7 yards deep in the backfield, taking a play fake, taking a rollout deep when he can't run outside the tackles. What do we call it? Why would you put CJ in a position like that? Think about how ugly those 2 plays were. One of them, he rolled and just ran out of bounds. On 4th and inches, we lost 7 yards because he just ran out of bounds. Like, what the hell is that?
That's crazy. He didn't even throw the ball. That's wild.
He didn't even throw
wild.
it. It was 4th and 1 on the 1, coming out of a commercial timeout. He gets a play fake to the short side. We're rolling to the short side. So not only does he not have time, he don't got real estate. And you know he's not thinking like a Kenny Minchie, where I'm just going to put my head in, run people over, whatever, is 1 yard. He trying to throw the ball. You see, he just floating, just runs out of bounds. Like, that's correct. Like, that is, if he wasn't CJ Carr, that'd be a fireable offense from the fans. The fans will be eating him alive. Oh my God, what kind of, didn't we just get on Arkansas's guy for that? 4th down, game on the line, you just run out of bounds. You quit. And then the second time we do it again. And what does CJ do? Throw it out of bounds. Like, saying he wasn't ever running towards.
No, that was the interception. That was the interception where they
right,
picked up the pass interference.
He was never running towards the line of scrimmage. That's the problem I'm having. He was every time floating away on a 4th and inches. Like, that's, once he got out the pocket on both times, said, oh, the play's over, just fall down. It's whatever. It's over. So, Denbrock, what are you doing? Why would you ever put like, I get it. The notion is everybody in the stadium's thinking it's short yardage. We're going to give it to the running back on short yardage. But Denbrock's like, I know everybody's thinking that, but I can outsmart them. I'm going to do the old, everybody think I'm going to hand it off, then I'm going to pass it for a touchdown. But guys, we put enough on tape where short yardage, nobody's believing we're just going to run at them. In fact, more people believe on 2nd down, we're going to run right at you and get close and then try to throw it on 3rd and short. That's what we're famous for right now. Denbrock, the cat's out the bag. Defensive coordinators are hip. Short yardage, don't go for the run. Because that's what he wants you to think. It's one of those, like, he wants you to think we're going to run it because that's the smart. Everybody thinks that. And then we're going to trick them. And no, first of all, we don't get enough push. And we're going from the shotgun. So, like I said before, defenses can see you. You don't force run action in the play action. You don't force run action from the shotgun on short downs because nobody believes it. I mean, I know these guys aren't the Harvards of the world, but a D tackle nose guard knows that. Oh, you this far? Psh, what am I chasing anything for? I'm not going to chase a sweep or chase no window dressing. It's 4th and inches. So, maybe on middle of the field, we're driving, you want a big post on 3rd and short, great.
Yeah. Marcus Freeman, let's hear the rest, love.
Follow-up question to that. This would have been a very strange question to ask you because you have Jeremiah Love on your team if we asked in August, but now it seems we could ask. Jabron Payne, 2023, was your short yardage back until Audric took it. Aeneas Williams contributed to that last year when it wasn't Riley. Is that something where you guys have been heavily looking at, or clearly Jeremiah Love is not the issue either, but those guys have proven they can do it in the past as well.
Yeah. It's not a shot against Jabron or Aeneas. Those guys are fully capable of going in there in short yard situations and executing what they're coached to do. But Jeremiah Love and J.D. Price are fully capable of executing what their coach asked to do. It's not that. It's that, okay, we got to have a better plan. We got to have a better plan offensively in those short yard situations, and we will, right? And then, I look at both 4th down plays that we had in the game. They probably had a better call defensively than we had offensively.
Come on. No.
No.
It's your job to make sure coming out of a timeout that you have a better play call than they have.
There's not so many plays you can run on inches in on the 1 yard line, Marcus Freeman. Because that particular situation tells you one team is tougher than the other. If you're talking about they called a better call, what do you mean? It's 11 people on defense, and 10 of the people on defense are over 300 pounds because they know what's coming. What do you?
What's the old adage? Isn't there an old adage in football? If you can't get 1 yard when you need it, then you don't deserve it. You don't deserve to win.
You don't deserve to win. And unfortunately, we're that adage applies because it happens in the game in the worst times. When we're only 1 score up, or we're trying to put a nail in the coffin, or trying to end the half. So our thing is Alabama's example. They made no qualms about it. When the guy runs on the field, everybody knows he can potentially get the ball. I'm talking about Caden Proctor.
Mm-hmm.
The defense knows. It's okay if the defense knows what's coming. That's my whole point. It's okay. Alabama is comfortable knowing, yes, when we sub him in, he's most likely getting the ball, whether it's shotgun, under center, at the receiver.
Well, wait. It's not a sub. He's your starting left tackle.
Oh, yeah.
You're not subbing him in.
When we move him back there, he's getting the ball. Like, it's okay if you guys know. Because guess what? You're going to have to tackle that for 1 yard. And not 10 times out of 10 has been successful.
Yeah.
So then, Brock, if Alabama's not ashamed of putting their Charles Jagasaw back there when they have plenty of running back options, it's not like they ain't running back.
Well, we might not have that dude at 300 pounds. That's a different athlete. That's a Penei Sewell type.
Short
Say it
yard,
again.
1 yard.
I'm just saying he might not exist in that Joe Rudolph room. I don't know if we have that dude.
Charles Jagasaw can take it 1 yard.
Bruh, that dude
Amir Wagner played both sides.
He's 370, left. He's 370, left.
Yeah.
Running. They threw him with hands. They threw him a screen pass, bro. And he broke tackles.
You telling me
that's a different athlete. That's all I'm saying.
You said nobody's capable?
No, I don't. Me personally, I've never seen Gerby Lambert catch the ball, so I don't know. He's a heck of an athlete, great feet.
No, Gerby can't do it. I
don't know if he can catch the ball. I don't know.
No, I don't want Gerby.
Like you said, that when you get that close to the goal line, short yardage, everything is condensed. There's only so many things you can do, but it's still so much more that you can put in the mind of the defense. Like you said, if you see Caden Proctor back there, you have to think like, yeah, he's back there for a reason. Like, if they split him out, you're thinking like, yo, why they got this 370-pound dude split out? You're thinking.
Yes, exactly.
We're not giving the defense things to think about.
It's like a normal down. Oh, just line up. It's normal down. No personnel change.
Condensed.
It's condensed, yeah. And that's the thing. I'm like, well, are we being disrespectful by saying we just gonna do our thing and we not thinking about situation football? We just want to run plays? Because that's what it looks like. Those short yardage plays just look like the next play in the docket. Not, we're think situationally, let's go get this yard for real. Like, and you can tell in the player's face when it takes so long to snap the ball, everybody looking like, oh, here we go. Here we go. It ain't no break the huddle. We sprint up to the line down, say hike. No. It's break. Check over here. All right, let's switch. Are you good? Are you ready to snap it? Are we gonna do these hand signals? It's 1 yard. I would love for us to fail doing a quarterback sneak. Let us fail doing some simple shit. That way we can be like, okay, we've tried the basics and we can't get it. Then that's a real problem. We haven't tried nothing basic to get the first down yet.
So basically, if the first down was a young lady, you're saying that Notre Dame is the dude fumbling his words, trying to ask for a dance.
Yeah. The girl saying, let's go home. The girl saying, let's go home. And you like, wait, I just want to hear this song. I just want to go get some food real quick. Like, no, dude. Like, she said, let's go home, not go wait for, no. What are you doing?
Oh, man.
You already danced 50,000 songs. You already got 20 million drinks, 50,000 songs danced. You're good. She said, let's go. You talking about, wait, I just got to say bye to my homeboys, make sure the bouncer gets taken care of. Wait, I got.
Oh, man.
You're finna lose. You put all the work in, and now you make like, come on, no, dog, no. So, I don't know, man. We gotta close the deal. Man. See the signs, man. When you're green to go. Don't overthink it.
Man, let's hear the rest of this from Coach Freeman.
Right, we run a sprint out. They had a good defense for that. We got to make them work. That's the other side of things. We tried to, run Maliki on a crack and go, and they had him covered. We thought they were going to be coming up for the run and try to get Maliki behind them. They covered him. We got to make it work, all right? And knows that that's the next challenge. We're going to do everything in our power to scheme things that can help us to have success. But at some point, you got to make the plays work, and that's what we got to continue to focus on.
How can you make that play work when they saw it and the linebacker recognized it and immediately took Maliki away? You make them work by giving them options to think about. Man, okay, they're in shotgun this rep. Oh, man, they're under center. Oh, man, they're doing this. Oh, man, they're doing that. Oh, they're in this formation. Bro, I get nervous now watching. Last year when it was 4th and 2, I was like, we're going to Riley. It don't matter. It doesn't matter if you know.
We're going to 13 every time.
Going to 13 every time. Extra man and extra runner. There's nothing you could do. Absolutely nothing you could do.
And you can tell Denbrock had flashbacks to that in the first 2 games. He thought he had 13 back there in short yardage in Miami. CJ looked back like QB draw. I'm a different 13, We running QB draw with CJ in the first game. I said, we think we got 13 back there. We think we got Riley Leonard back there. And then I said, oh, snap, I got the new playbook. Oh, I'm tripping. I got it. He probably realized he really didn't have short yardage calls because we used 13 on 80% of short yardage last year. We probably really realized that our short yardage isn't a thing because 13 literally consumed 90% of it. Not our running backs who can't seem to feel that 150 carry thing that we've seen in short yardage. Maybe because they're not used to it. Maybe because Jeremiah Love and Derek Price was used to Riley Leonard plowing in there on 3rd and short, 4th and short. So maybe that's what Marcus Freeman was referring to.
All right. Lucky Lefty podcast. That's Marcus Freeman as he met with the media today. I actually asked my question earlier, Left. You said you had a question. Shout out to my Bears tonight as we go into the state capitol to face off against the Commanders and to bring this W home. Couldn't depend on the Cubs to fly anything other than the L they normally fly. So they're out of the playoffs now.
Who got the Blue Jays? You rocking with the Jays?
Oh, man. In that series, well, the winner of game 1 wins 65% of the ALCSs. So I don't know, man. That one, yeah, I'm rocking with the Dodgers. You already know NL. I'm rocking with the Dodgers. You already know that. I got my Dodgers hat upstairs. So you already know that. AL, I'm going to go with Toronto because Toronto is the only team I really think can beat the Dodgers in a World Series.
Really? Okay. You don't think the Mariners got a chance?
Seattle doesn't score enough runs, dog. The Dodgers are going to put up runs, bro. They will put up runs.
They're going to put up runs.
Yes, they're going to put up runs. They just beat the Phillies. Just beat the Phillies with their best player going 1 for 21 in the series.
Yeah, that's true.
Crazy. That's crazy.
While JP Lawson out there trying to hit for the homer when he don't need it. Look.
Man, that's crazy.
That was the longest game I've seen. That was crazy.
That's crazy. So your question before we get out of here. Left Eddie had a question for me, ladies and gents. I can't wait to hear this. I can't wait to hear this one.
Why is it, or why do you get so much elation when things go great? You start hitting up the Lord, but that same elation doesn't come when times is tough. Why is it that we're triggered like that? First time something hits big for you, first person you say it, Jesus, Lord, thank you, God, thank you, Lord, mercy. But why is that elation so strong when it's good, but that same elation doesn't come when it's bad? Like, why don't I feel like, oh, thank Lord, I'm going through it right now?
It's very simple. Very simple. I would tell you or anybody else to really understand how to have proper balance when it comes to being happy and being content in life or being even keeled. You need to read Proverbs, the 3rd chapter, when it talks about the relationship between wisdom and understanding and knowledge, right? Wisdom and understanding. How do you gain wisdom? Well, wisdom comes from being able to be corrected. You can't gain any wisdom unless you're open to correction, bro. Like, how many times have you heard, my grandfather used to tell me things when I was a teenager, and I used to be like, man, whatever.
Yeah.
And then 15 years later, here I am living life and getting to a point where now I'm in a situation and I hear my grandfather's voice like, oh man, he told me. Now I understand what he was saying. So I think a lot of people, don't understand the power of having wisdom and embracing wisdom properly and then having an understanding, right? You have to be able to understand life in its totality. You have to be able to understand the true relationship that we're supposed to have with God, the Word, Jesus Christ, and what he was able to do for us in terms of salvation, right? That keeps you even keeled, bro. Because if you understand that no matter what, God is God. That's one principle that I challenge people to keep. No matter what's going on, your anchor should be God is still God.
Yeah. Yeah.
God is still God. So if I know that, it makes it a lot easier for me to still hold on and trust him, whether I'm elated or whether or not I am tempted or tested. I'm working from the standpoint and I'm living from the standpoint that God is still God.
Okay.
That keeps me even keeled. That keeps me rooted and grounded.
How do you stay even keeled? Because it's easy to just
You
That's
got
what
to. You have to, bro.
you
You
know.
have to. And that's what you have to. That's for anybody in life. And if you're not even a believer, just in life, and you have life principles, man, you stay even killed by being anchored in what you do. Same thing. That book you have that Mike Denbrock gave you years ago. That's your anchor for your offensive philosophy, bro.
It is really.
What the wisdom you gained from him and the you playing gave you a greater understanding of the wisdom that Mike Denbrock gave you.
That's
and
it.
now you can live it because you've lived it, you've understood it, and that's all. That's what you need. That's what keeps you anchored, man. And people need to understand not to beat themselves up, man. You get understanding by living, man. You have to live. You're going to make mistakes. You're going to fail some tests and trials. It's okay. Be anchored in the fact God is still God. Brush myself off. Let me get back to this. Or as Marcus Freeman famously says, let me move on to the next play. Move on to the next day. This wasn't a good day. You know what? Let me get back to my anchor and my roots. Move on to the next day. That's what we have to do, man.
That's real.
That's what we have to do.
Need that one. There we go.
So I would encourage anybody that's dealing with that. Proverbs, the 3rd chapter, man, really, really breaks down, how to attain happiness. And it clearly tells us like wisdom to attain, to acquire, and then retain wisdom.
Retain, yeah.
And understanding. That's a happy person.
Yeah.
That's where happiness comes into play. And so if you do that, I think that can go to what Notre Dame has had to do in the face of 2 early losses and disappointment. They had to go back to the anchor. What's the anchor of who we are? What's the root of who we are as a team? What is it? That's what we go back to. And now we have, in order to get better, we have to work. We have to live it. This defense, in order to get better, you're going to get burned. Dallas Golden got burnt.
Got burned.
They're going to have bad plays. However, we have to get back to doing what makes us us. We have to get back to being us. And we have to know and believe in who we are. And that's what they've been able to do. That's what we do. We've been watching this Notre Dame team and saying as fans, now that's the Notre Dame defense. Now they're starting to look like the Notre Dame defense.
That's right.
But left, I think early on, they might have been depending on what they've done.
Yes.
Rather than living in what they have to do in the process to actually be the 2025 version.
Yeah, you got to be that version. You was trying to be an old
the Notre
version.
Dame. You trying to be the old version. It's like, no, you got different coach, different coordinator.
You got to fix them bugs out.
Different flow, all of that, man. That's a good question, Lev. That's a good question because I think a lot of people did that. What? Oh, he's stupid. Indy Milk fan is stupid. He's stupid, man. Indy Milk fan is one of the biggest trolls ever, man.
Love it. We love it, Indy Milk. We love it, man.
But no, in all seriousness, bro. Yeah, man.
That's what you got to do.
Yeah, I actually did a teaching yesterday on the 3 instances of how Peter got understanding. Because that's the dope thing about the word and the dope thing about Jesus, man. He meets you exactly where you're at. He's like the most relatable teacher you could ever experience. Ever. Like the greatest 3 teachings of Peter were all near water and on a boat. You know why? Because his profession was he was a fisherman. So how better to get him to understand what he needs to understand than to give him his 3 greatest lessons near water in his element. You know what I'm saying? I was like, yo, that's dope. It doesn't get any more relatable than that, bro. Yeah. It doesn't get any more relatable than that. And so, I think all of us, well, I hope all of us are blessed because some people, uh, unfortunately, some people don't have people in their lives to pour into them. You know, man, that is truly like my prayer for anybody watching that you find somebody to be able to pour into and someone you can release things to. Because it's hard, man, to get through life without being attached to wisdom, bro. Like you
Real.
need wisdom in your life. And I'm extremely blessed. I don't take it for granted, bro. I had my mother's mother was full of wisdom. God rest her soul. My father's dad was full of wisdom. And my dad was full of wisdom, And so I try to be that, especially for young people. That's what I try to be, an extension of what I've been surrounded by. I try to be that extension for them in life, bro. Because it pays dividends down the line, And of course, people have to be open to it. But by all means, the heart has to be open to receive, like I said, correction. Because most of the time, wisdom is some form of correction.
Yeah.
My grandfather used to, and I ended like this. My grandfather used to say this: I'm not saying you should do it, but if it were me, I wouldn't do it. That's
Yeah.
literally how he would phrase it. I'm not
Yeah.
saying you shouldn't do it, but
if it was
if
me,
I wouldn't do it.
That's right.
When he said that, you already knew. He's basically telling me, man, don't do that.
Yeah.
Don't So anything else, folk, man, great conversation. We did the offensive and defensive takeaways. Thank you for staying. Everybody stayed on for the church we had right there at the end.
That's right. Hey, you need to end it on start on a good Monday, man. I tell you that.
P-Dub, the seeds parables are great too. Absolutely.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Good stuff, man.
So yeah, offensive takeaways, defensive takeaways. Marcus Freeman, his press conference had an A+ until like the last couple of questions. Then it dropped down to an A.
Yeah.
I'll give him an A. It was an A+. It was an A+.
Yeah.
But then, and we gave our thoughts on the short yardage. We also gave our thoughts on the Penn Station. I think it was Indy Milton fan put in a G2B concerning Penn State. And if you go back, I think it was around the hour mark, we started talking about the Penn State situation and coaches we thought would be good picks for them moving forward.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So for Left SD 2 mics, we will see you guys tomorrow afternoon.
Yep.
Tomorrow afternoon, right here, Lucky Lefty Podcast for Left SD2 mics, as always, presented by Bleav, or courtesy of Bleav Network. Please go support the audio side, Apple Podcast, Spotify, and we are presented by FanDuel. What does it tell you when Notre Dame is installed as a 7.5-point favorite? That's up. So we'll get into a little bit more of the numbers tomorrow. We'll get into the numbers tomorrow. We were going to have Howard Griffith on, but he couldn't get on. So we'll try to have him on to talk about USC, Big Ten, and go behind enemy lines. And then talk about James Franklin, bro. Because that, you know what, though? I'm not mad, bro. Man, send me home with $50 million. By all means. Send me to the crib.
I'll take a step back.
While we're talking about who's next at Penn State, I don't know where James Franklin goes from here. Because I think he goes to a lesser program. I can't see him making a lateral move.
He's going to take that Mac Brown step. Take a step back.
Not from Texas to North Carolina.
Yeah, your hometown team. Yeah, you're going to all that. When you don't win a championship and you leave like that, you can't go. You can't go to many places. Matt Rule never hit no real success, so he can still climb. James Franklin was. That's like Marcus Freeman. Marcus Freeman bombed out at Notre Dame. Where he gonna go? So, all right, man.
Well, Left, SD2 Mics. We'll see you guys tomorrow. Make sure you continue to spin it different. LuckyLeftyPod.com.